this is what we talked about last class. So, how does winter affect people? We have a few things up here. We have snow and ice, which can affect traveling with people. There are also holidays and sports that go along during this time, such as Christmas, and Thanksgiving's kind of in fall, but like Christmas time. And then how it affects plants, which there are no leaves, everything's dead, brown and brittle, and that people use the trees as firewood. And then for animals, they live off of fat, and they hibernate, and they have thicker fur. So today we're going to be talking about spring, and we have a short time-lapse video of the coming of spring.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about spring. And as you've seen in that video, you can tell that everything is coming to life and that everything is starting to bloom. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so what do people do in the spring? So many of you have seen people who plant gardens. That way they can have food, because that's when plants and vegetables grow the best. And people will wear lighter clothes. They won't wear like winter parkas or anything too heavy because it's starting to get warmer. And a lot of people do spring cleaning, which is where you clean out your houses or your attics because you can finally get outside and dust stuff off. And also people do building and painting while they can be outside. They can paint the outside of their house or they can build stuff. And then spring holidays and sports such as Easter, and then there's a ton of spring sports. You can play soccer, lacrosse, football, anything like that that's outside. Pick it up, it's fun. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and then how does spring affect plants? Okay, so there's more warmer temperatures and there's more rain, so that is very, very good for plant life. Lots of flowers you'll see blooming as you see in our time-lapse video. And then trees start to grow leaves. So the trees from wintertime had no leaves, but now in the springtime they're starting to grow very nice green leaves. And then germination starts to happen, so then the flowers and all the plants around get pollinated and they get germinated. Animals and plants, animals eat new plants, so then the animals in the spring will be fed with the new plants of the spring. And then birds nest in the trees, the new trees that have their newly found leaves. And then people plant new seeds. And this is just like the gardening that we talked about what people do. Okay, and what about animals in the spring? So in the spring there's more food sources for animals, and most animals come out of hibernation. There's new grass, so that's also great for the animals because the animals do eat grass. And babies. Lots of babies are born in the spring among animals. So you'll see lots of little chicks and everything like that, little tadpoles. Okay, and they return to where they migrated from. So if they left a place because it was cold, then they're going to come back to that place. And they shed their winter coats. You can even see this with your dog shedding, in the spring they start shedding more, and then they have a lighter coat. Okay, so now we're going to do an assignment, and we're going to draw. Let me pull it up. Okay, so for this assignment, you're going to draw in plants, animals, and peoples as they would look and live in the spring season. And we sent these papers home with you, so you can do it there, but we're going to do a little bit of it here. And my art skills are not that great, so just bear with me. So in the springtime, you have trees that are super bushy and green and filled out because they're no longer winter trees, so they are full of leaves. Okay, other things that you'll see come back are the birds, because now the birds can actually live here and they won't be cold, so you'll see all the birds migrate back. And then you can also have flowers. You see lots of flowers in the spring. Okay, and on yours, you can draw whatever you think reminds you of the spring, the animals, birds, houses, holidays. Like we could draw Easter in here, and that's what you could do on that. So just make it creative, make it your own, and we'll see it then for the next class.
Okay, so now we have a little writing activity for you to do, and it says describe your drawing, make connections between your activities and the season as well as the effects the season has on plants and animals. So as Miss Townsend drew, she drew a picture first of some trees. So what you would say is in the spring, you could say there are green, beautiful trees. To tie along with what you drew, and then how the season has an effect on the plants and animals. So for your tree, you put it's green, it's beautiful, it's full. And then another example would be the animals, which she drew was birds. And then you could say in the spring, birds are out and about. And flying. So here, those are just some examples of what you could write about for your for your drawings. And so you just want to make sure that you write what you drew, about what you drew, and make it their connection between how spring has an effect on people, plants, or animals. So that's just an example of that.
Okay, so we have a couple of different writing prompts that you can choose from. So whenever you write yours, you can think about these different prompts, and you can pick which one you want. You can just do one, if that's fine. Just make sure you elaborate on it. So we have the first one of what is your favorite thing about this season? Do you look forward to it every year? Why or why not? How can people earn extra money in this season, such as shoveling snow, raking leaves, lifeguarding? What holidays does your family celebrate in this season? What traditions go with those holidays? What are the wild animals that live around you doing during this season? Squirrels, rabbits, etc. Look at your tree. How has it changed from the way you drew it on the last season page. So this is talking about when we did winter in the last class. And what is traveling like during this season? And if we have to pay for heating and air conditioning, is that expensive for this season? And okay, that is it. And make sure you bring all of your materials into class for the next time we see you. Thank you.